Okay, so example number 3, 4, 5, and 6 is what we need to complete for today. So when we're looking at example number 3, we have 5 square root 12d to the 18th power e to the 31st power. The first step says factors normal. So we're going to look at our number in our radicand, which is 12. So what two numbers can I multiply together to get 12, Alex? What two numbers can I multiply together to get 12? Close. What times 6 will get you to 12? They shall help him out. 2 and 6. We know 2 is a prime, so I'm going to circle it. Then what two numbers can I multiply together to get 6 again? 2 and 3. Okay, I factored my radicand, so now I'm going to come over. I'm going to put my equal sign. And as soon as I put that equal sign, what number should I write after it?
5.
The 5, because I can't forget about that coefficient 5. Then I put my square root sign, and then I put my factors. So what are the factors that I want to list under my square root sign? Kaylon? So 2 times 3, and now we switch to the new stuff. What else do I need to make sure I put under here? D to the
18
times.
No, don't put the times, just run through.
No, you have to still put your times. Times.
Is that D18?
Yes.
E31. I didn't know that. I was just filling them in.
Okay. So then it's D to the 18th, E to the 31st. And I got that right from our radicand. We just transferred that over. So now we go back to the old materials that we know. So from here, I circle my factor pairs. So I'm ready to go ahead and start simplifying. So when I go to start simplifying, I'm going to move my factor pairs to the coefficient. So Jair, what's my new coefficient going to be?
5 times 2.
Which equals?
5 times 2, 10.
Good. So 10 is going to be my coefficient. And now we have to look at what is stuck on the inside. So we have the 3 because it didn't cancel. So then we come to my variable. Jalen, 18, odd or even? Even. Now, according to our notes, if it's an even number, we know that it's going to completely cancel with the square root. Then you're going to take half of 18. So what's 18 divided by 2, Jalen? 18 divided by 2. What's half of 18?
Look it up, bro.
You have a calculator if you can't figure it out.
See, look, I'm always gonna count.
That's okay.
No.
That's okay.
Shh,
Shh, Kaylon.
Oh, so I gotta put zeros. Hold on.
9. So we're going to have D to the 9th on the outside. Because it's an even number, it totally cancels with the square root, and we just take half of the exponent and move it all to the coefficient.
What's so deep, bro?
Question.
I'm confused. I thought you said the D cancel out.
It does, but it goes to the outside. That's okay. No, that's a good question, Deja. So now I'm going to look here. E to the 31st. Michael, 31, odd or even? Odd. So because it's odd, I know I'm going to have one E left in the radicand. Okay? So if I'm going to have 1 left over, I'm going to take 1 off of 31 and get 30. So then what's half of 30? So when I say what's half of 30, what's 30 divided by 2, Jair? 15. So that's going to move to my coefficient, E to the 15th. So I'm done with my coefficient part. So I'm now going to work on my radicand part. David, what number is going to stay inside the square root sign?
It's going to be the 5.
What number is going to stay on the inside of the square root?
Oh, the 3.
The 3. Good. Then what variable is going to stay within the square root sign? Yeah, the E. Now, we know that the E is going to stay because it was an odd exponent. So that's my answer to example number 3. Now, example number 4 is going to be very similar to example number 3. Okay? So let's take a look at example number 4. So example number 4, we have the square root of 450, f to the 5th, g to the 6th, h to the 7th. The only thing I threw at you guys a little bit different this time is that I gave you some more variables with exponents. So while you're waiting, go ahead and start doing what part you know. At this point, all of you guys should know that you always start by factoring the radicand. When we go downstairs, we need to get more sticker IDs for up here, if you can help me remember. Okay, so when I go to factor the radicand, I'm going to think, what two numbers can I multiply together to get 450? Anybody help me with that?
You want me to help you?
Sure.
You can do it. 45.
Okay, and
It's,
And 18. Do 15 and 30.
how about 10?
Well, whatever.
How about 45 and 10? What two numbers can I multiply together to get 10?
15 and 30.
2 and 5. You can use that, Kaylon. And then what can you use for 45?
I mean, yeah, 19. Wait.
9 and something, what?
95.
9 and 5.
I can't really catch up.
Now, because I have no coefficient, I want him to write. Worst comes to
I
worst.
can't even catch up.
Calm down. If you would quit complaining, you would be able to keep writing. So I would suggest that you stop complaining and start writing. Now, if worst comes to worst, and you totally miss something, you have this whole great cheat sheet. But I want to make sure you stay where I'm at, though, okay? Okay. What do I do with the numbers that I circled?
Put them inside the box.
Yeah, put them inside the box. So that's going to look like 2 times what times what times what? And what else do I have to include?
F,
To the
B power,
times.
G to the 6, H to the 7.
I am not making my square root signs long enough. Woo. Okay. What do I do from here, Danielle?
You circle your pairs.
Yeah, I'm going to circle my pairs. Okay. Now,
Get a 5 in there.
did I forget a 5? Oh, I sure did.
Yo.
Thank goodness Miss Richardson's on with it.
Yeah, she gets extra credit.
She does get extra credit. Michael, give Miss Richardson a +2. Give Miss Richardson a +2. She was on it. Okay, so we also have to circle my pair of 5s. So when I go to circle my pairs, they move to the outside coefficient. What is my new coefficient going to be?
Oh,
15. Because that 3 moves to the outside, the 5 moves to the outside. 3 times 5 is 15. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to look at my variables. That's a 5. So f to the 5th.
Take it down one.
Take it down 1 because it's odd. So we know that one variable is going to be left, so I'm going to underline it. And I'm going to take 1 off of 5 and get 4. So what's half of 4?
2.
2. So f to the 2nd goes on the outside. Then I go look at my next variable, g. G to the 6th. 6 is a what type of number? Even. So what's half of 6? 3. So that goes to the outside. Because it's an even, it completely cancels with my square root. Then I go to my next one, h to the 7th. 7 odd or even? Odd. Because it's odd, I'm going to underline the h because I'm going to have one h left. I take 1 off of the 7 and get 6. What's half of 6? 3. So h to the 3rd is going to go to the outside. Kaylon, question?
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you going to cancel
not a number.
The reason why I'm canceling the exponent with the square root,
How about the G?
because it's an even. Because it's an even exponent, it totally cancels, meaning I'm not going to have any variables that's going to be left on the inside of my square root sign. But when they're odd, I am going to have one that's stuck on the inside. Okay? And I do that more as a visual so I know what goes where. That's helpful to me. Okay, so now I'm finished with my coefficient. So I'm going to go ahead from here and draw my square root sign. Now, I'm going to look. What number is stuck on the inside? 2. Okay? What variables?
G, H.
Look at it again. What two variables had
G, H. F, G.
F because it was odd? And what other variable had an odd one? H. Why is the G not included?
Just.
You already used it.
Yeah, I already used it. It was even. It all canceled and moved to the outside.
Go.
I am going to warn you now. Go ahead. Examples number 5 and number 6 are going to be multiplying square roots. So it's going to be like the last question from our daily opener. Okay, so the last 2 examples are going to be multiplying square roots with variables. So when we go to multiply square roots, thank you. When we go to multiply square roots, we are going to revert back to following our multiplication of square root rules, which step 1 says multiply the coefficients. Well, I don't have any coefficients here, so I can't do that. So step 2 says factor the radicand. So I'm going to factor 6. What 2 numbers can I multiply together to get 6?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Circle them. Hey, Elon. Circle them because they're prime. Then I need to factor the radicand 35. What 2 numbers can I multiply together to get 35?
Let me go and help you out, 'cause I don't know.
Wait, what'd you say?
What 2 numbers? 7 and 5.
There you go, Ms. Davis.
Thank you. Okay. Because it's multiplication, do I use 2 square roots or 1 square root sign?
Always.
Always 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you that probably every single time though too. So now I put all the numbers that I just circled in order from least to greatest. So if I put all the numbers that I circled in order from least to greatest, Jaden, what is that going to look like? So what number? Okay, sorry. Times. What else do I have circled there? Did you say times 3? Times what now? Times. Last one? Sorry, I was waiting. I was trying to see his mouth move, but your head was in the way. I should have taken this. No, it's my fault.
He's just chilling.
Okay, now the new part, our variables. So I'm going to look on my first one, k. Does this square root have a k? No. So I'm just going to bring the k to the what power over? Third. Okay, so then I'm going to look at my m. This one has an m. So how many m's are here? 1. So what's 1 plus 3? So m to the 4th. So I'm done with the k, I'm done with the m's, and then I have to remember to include the what? N to the 5th.
That's your answer, ain't it?
Almost.
What you mean almost?
Okay. So I'm almost done, but I'm not quite because I now have to simplify all this out. I can't leave this like this.
Exactly.
I need to simplify it. So do I have any factor pairs?
Yeah. No. You got that M. Make it to a 2.
Do I have any factor pairs with my numbers?
Oh, no.
No. So all these numbers are going to be stuck on the inside. So then I'm going to go and I'm going to focus on my variables. K to the 3rd is going to be odd or even.
Odd.
So I'm going to underline the K, bless you, because that means it's because it's odd. I'm going to have 1 stuck on the inside. I'm going to take 1 off of the 3 and get 2. What's half of 2? What's half of 2? 1. So I can either write K to the 1st or I can just write K. It does not matter. Okay? Stay with me. Then we're going to go to M. Odd or even?
Even.
Because it's even, it's going to completely cancel with my square root.
Yeah.
What's half of 4?
2.
So m to the
2.
second. Then I'm going to go to n.
Odd.
It's odd, so that means I'm going to have one n that's going to be left under.
It's gonna be 2.
What's half of, or excuse me, take 1 away from 5, you get
2.
4. And what's half of 4?
2.
2. So n to the second. So that's my coefficient part. Good job. Keeping up.
No problem.
Now,
Sorry.
we're going to look at the radicand. So my radicand, I didn't have any numbers that could circle. So I'm going to have to take 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. I do not have a calculator, so somebody's going to have to do that for me.
The what?
So you're going to multiply all your numbers inside the radicand together.
Yeah.
210.
210?
210.
Y'all agree?
Yeah, 210. Then you gonna put the letters.
Hold on, Damon. I need you to quit working ahead of me here.
Alright,
I appreciate that it's clicked and you're getting it. So now I have 210. So I took 2 times 3, got 6. 6 times 5, got 180. 180 times 7, and got 210. Now I look at my variables. Any of the variables that had an odd exponent, you're going to have one of those variables stuck in the radicand. So what variables had odd exponents?
K.
The k, and then what else?
Then box around. 7.
Okay. For this last one, Daisha cannot answer, Kaylon cannot answer, and Damon cannot answer.
Because that was alright.
Kaylon, Daisha, and Damon.
What did you answer? Jay was doing work.
All right, here we go. Last one. The square root of 10p times 2 square root of 21q. Last one, last example. Do you have an ID? Oh, I'm sorry, it's right there.
Oh no, it's on.
Thank you. First thing that we're going to do when we're multiplying square roots is look to see if I can multiply any coefficients. When I look to see if I can multiply any coefficients, can I? Do I have any coefficients here? Jalen, do I have any coefficients?
Yes.
Yes, what is it? 2. So I'm going to go ahead, put my equal sign, and bring my 2 right on over so I don't forget about it. After I multiply the coefficients, what's the next thing I do, Jalen? This is a last. So factor it for me.
2 and 5 for 10.
Okay?
And then,
Do you want me to do this or?
No, go on down. It'll be on Google Classroom. So you want to take it with you? Okay, go ahead and factor 21 for me. And then I'll quit picking on you and move on to somebody else. How's that?
I gotta get down. That's cool.
Ugh.
Yeah, I got.
How you smoke?
I'm telling her no.
Oh, Daisy, go ahead, help me. This is what time. I'll do the rest of it. I swear, I'll do the rest of it.
Okay, you guys heard him. What 2 numbers can I multiply together for 21? 3 and 7. Thank you. Okay, what do I do with these numbers?
Put them in the square root.
One single square root sign, right? So go ahead and put them in order for me.
Put 2, 3, 5, 7.
What else do I have to put under there, Jalen?
Huh?
What else do I have to put under there?
Letter, so,
Do I have any other P?
no.
Okay, so times P. Do I have any other Q's? Okay, good.
It's on me to-
Jaden, when I'm multiplying square roots, what's the next step that I would do? What's the next step that I would do after I put all my factors under here? Well, I would usually circle my factor pairs, right? But do I have any factor pairs here? No, so I can't do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to figure out what goes where. Well, I know that all of these numbers are stuck on the inside because they had no factor pairs. I'm going to come to my first variable, P. If there's only one P, is that an odd or an even number? Odd. Well, if there's only one, I can't drop it to 0 and take half of 0. So that P's stuck. I go to the Q. Same thing. It's to the first, so it's odd. So that's not going anywhere.
So,
So when I go to rewrite this, or simplify it, I'm going to put my equal. What's my coefficient?
2,
2. What's my radicand?
3.
So you're going to take 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 times 7 is what?
Why would you say that? My calculator is like 36. When you say 6.
210. Jalen, turn around now.
No, you can just.
Okay, now, what are my variables that I have to include?
Here, Q.
That's it. That one was a little bit easier, right?
Q's.
This one again?
And that is